So if you've got your interview coming up to join the police, I want you to completely forget what you've learned elsewhere about how to answer interview questions. Forget STAR. Forget it. It's just not that helpful. It's really simplistic. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about some alternatives that you can utilize, not just for rear-facing questions, because the other limitation of STAR is it doesn't apply to forward-facing questions. It doesn't apply to scenario-based questions. It doesn't apply to motivation, values, impact, challenge, and all the other different types of questions that you may get at your final interview. So before we dive in, who am I and why should you listen to anything I've got to say? My name is Brendan from Blue Light, and over the past 31 years now, I've been coaching and supporting people for the police recruitment process, promotion boards, specialist interviews, ever since I got promoted to sergeant all of those years ago. Been in the police sector since 1985, so that's 40 years now. I've got a great team of coaches around me. We provide support in terms of one-to-one, small group practice webinars, load of online material. We've got 10 amazing coaches, and we actually guarantee the results. So if you don't pass, we give you a full refund. How cool is that? Anyway, let's dive deep. Where does this come from? Well, one of our members of the Facebook group that you're inside now, if you're watching this live, it's because you're watching it inside our Facebook group. Ray asked a question. I'm 18 years old. I'm preparing for my interview to join the Special Constabulary. Should I use STAR for my interview answers? And I've suggested, no, we've got a better way for you than STAR. And like I said before, STAR's limitations are that it doesn't apply to forward-facing questions or scenario questions. You're just going to get yourself all mixed up. So let's dive in, and I'm going to share with you here some of the models and structures that we utilize for our Academy members. We've got over 40 different proprietary systems, models and structures that we advocate depending on what aspect of the police recruitment process you're currently in. I'm just going to touch on some of them today, but the most popular ones, the things that are going to really help you. So first of all, starting off with STAR, which stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result. First of all, why don't we like it? Well, we don't like it because it's too limiting. People tend to talk about the situation, often talking about the types of situations that they deal with in the workplace. Or when they talk about a task, they'll say something like the task I was set. Now, the thing is, as a police officer and as an interviewer of future police officers, I don't want to hear about things that you were set to do. I want to hear about things that you got off your backside and did yourself. Is that making sense? So even if it was something that you decided you'd do, you'd say something like the task I set myself. The thing is, no one talks like that. No, not even in the police. People just don't talk like that. So why start talking in a weird way at your interview? Is this making sense so far? And the action result part doesn't allow for any learning. So we've got a similar system. We call it SALCU. SALCU, and it stands for situation. We still talk about situation, but we want to talk about impact factors in there as well. We want to talk about a specific situation and why it was challenging and difficult. And then we move into impact factors. And then from there, as opposed to talking about task, we talk about the aim. What is it you're aiming to achieve and why? And then the subsection, and there's subsections to all of these. We go into more depth in our Academy program, but one of the subsections is aims. So now you've got options. Now you've got your aim. Now you can start thinking about options. What options did I consider in order to achieve my aim? Now this is going to resonate really well with the police interviewers because it's very national decision model in its format. Talking about an aim and options is so NDM. And they're going to like that. Even if they can't put their finger on it, they're going to like it. And it makes more sense as well. It makes far more sense. And then you can talk about the actions that you took. Now, most people just talk about what they did, as in, I approached the problem in a collaborative way, using effective problem solving and ensuring that all people were communicated and updated with in terms of my actions and the actions of others. Sounds great, doesn't it? But it's absolutely meaningless. It doesn't mean anything at all until we actually wrap the how around it. And we go deep into that with our clients so that we can produce an answer that's like 4 or 5 minutes long, because it's where the detail is. The how is where the detail is. Is that making sense? And then the R of SALCU stands for result. We use an 80-20 principle, that 80% of what you did will have worked, 20% didn't, and that then leads into the learning. Now the learning is not, I learned it's good to collaborate with others, or I learned the power of open questions. Those are just bland, cliched statements of fact. We're talking about hard learning as a result of that specific situation. And then the KU stands for knowledge and understanding. This is where you talk about why this particular behaviour or value is so important in the police, and your understanding is demonstrating how you intend to implement that value or behaviour once you're actually a police officer. This is such a powerful model. It is so powerful, it enables our clients to consistently succeed and get the highest possible marks in their online assessment centre and in their final interview. The feedback we get from our clients as a result of after going to the online assessment centre, and especially for the final interview, is things like the assessors actually complimented me on the structure of my answers. I was told straight away that I'd passed. I was told it was the best interview they'd had in months. This is what we're looking for. Make sense? Awesome. All right, another model that we utilise is for forward-facing questions. These are questions like, tell me about how in the future as a police officer you would build up trust with your colleagues, or build up trust with members of the community who didn't trust the police, or how would you go about making decisions, or how would you work collaboratively with partner agencies? How would you challenge inappropriate behaviour? So many forward-facing questions that can be developed. We actually go into a lot of them in our, where is it? I've got our handy. Here it is. Our question bank. We've got this massive question bank with, I think it's about 10 pages worth of questions. I mean, like loads and loads and loads of possible questions. And a lot of them, we've got a big list of forward-facing questions that you may get. It's made up of just about every forward-facing question that's been asked by any force in the country over the past few years. So a lot of forward-facing questions for you to practice with if you're one of our Academy members. So forward-facing questions, how are we going to structure those? Why the thing is important? Got to go into that, either quantitatively or qualitatively. How are you going to deal with it? No more than 3 things. It's not time for a big shopping list. No more than 3 things in detail. So again, what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And then the what at the very end, the 3rd stage is what will this result in? When you implement those things, what will it result in? Simple model. Why, how, what? Works a treat. Seriously, it does. What else can I share with you? Motivation questions. I've actually just done a one-to-one with someone today who talked about my values align with the values of the police service. I believe I can make a serious difference. I can build bridges. I'm a man of integrity. I've got a calm approach. What else was there? Anyway, it was just lots and lots of cliches. Lots of cliches didn't actually enable that individual to stand out. I would not have remembered them at the end of the day. I probably wouldn't have passed them neither. So what we're going to have is a really good, powerful, strong hook to the why question. Why do you want to be a police officer? Now, they may tell you that this question is not being marked. It is. Because as soon as you start talking, they start writing. So if it's not being marked, why are they writing? And even if they're not writing, and it's genuinely not being marked formally, it's being marked in their heads, because this is when you set up their bias towards you or against you. If you give them a load of cliched nonsense, they're going to have a bias against you. If you give them a really strong, powerful answer as to what's really motivating you to be a police officer, then they're going to be biased towards you. And you want them biased towards you. And you may be thinking, bias in a police interview, that sounds really unfair. Hey, welcome to the world. These are humans, and they're going to have unconscious biases. So we want to play to those biases to ensure that this individual leans more towards a favourable score for you rather than unfavourable. Make sense? Awesome. So we need to have a powerful hook. There's always a what or who happens with everyone. I guarantee, no matter how many times I've done one-to-ones and people have gone, I can't think of anything that really motivated me. Because I'll always say to them, like, you didn't wake up one morning and just think, I know, police officer. And you didn't always want to be a police officer, because when you were 4, you didn't want to be a police officer. You didn't even have a clue what a police officer did. Or if you did dress up as a police officer, you didn't really know what you were doing. So don't give me that. When I dressed up as a 4-year-old as a police officer, I knew that this was the career for me. It's just, no, please don't even go there. There's always, always, always 100% a what happened or who happened. So what inspired you or who inspired you? The client I've just had now, when I asked them who inspired you, think about who has inspired you as a police officer, they came up with a brilliant example. So in the space of 5 minutes, we turned around their cliched, no marks, terrible answer that won't be remembered and probably wouldn't score well, into one that's really, really powerful, that's got such a strong hook. I can still I remember it now. I'll remember it next week. Very, very powerful hook. Very powerful hook. So we want to have a great hook, and then we build upon it with little chapters, move them all the way to the point where you are where you are today. All right, we've got a ton of other structures, models and systems that we utilise. We've got the Eisenhower Matrix for written exercises as part of the DC program, Detective Constable Entry program. We've got II March to do briefings. We've got our friends Pat and Sarah that we utilise for the written exercise in the online assessment centre. Where's our written exercise? There it is. We've even got one of those. We've got a sample written exercise for you. We use threat, harm, risk for the briefing exercise. There's our sample briefing exercise. And of course, we use our model for ensuring that we have the 5 pillars of an awesome answer. There's our online assessment centre question bank. The 5 pillars being that you need to have good structure to your answer, essential that you have detail, authenticity, things sometimes go wrong, don't go to plan, emotional connect, it was difficult or challenging, so it would have been emotionally impacting on you and others. And the 5th one, I'll end on this, make sure you just answer the question. Make sense? All right, I mentioned a few more models in a moment, but before I do, you may be thinking, this academy sounds brilliant. How do I join? There'll be a link below in the comments, or if you're watching this on the recording, it's at the top of the description if you're watching this on YouTube or elsewhere. So what else have we got? Other types of questions. We've got impact questions, where we want to talk about trauma that we may witness and experience, but also pride. We've got values, talking about not just the values that are important to me in the police service are respect and empathy, courage and public service. That's not going to get you high marks. You want to be talking about the values that really, really describe you. So it might be kindness and compassion. One way to do that, ask a friend, ask friends, what value do I stand for that you know me for the best? We've got so many. There's like 40 different proprietary systems and models. I can't go into them all. You'll just get a bit bored, and you're probably a bit overloaded now already. So if you'd like to find out more, like I said, if you're watching this on recording and thinking this Facebook group sounds good, where is it? There's a link below. This academy sounds good. What happens? Well, you fill out a form. It takes no more than 5 minutes, and we have a conversation with you. And if you like us and we like you, you can join our academy and we'll guarantee the result. If you don't pass, we'll give you a refund. How cool is that? So all of those things are in the links below. We'll look forward to seeing you on the other side. And one more little message for you. If you're serving as a police officer at this moment in time, then kudos to you. Look after yourself. Ask yourself the question, what does my human need today? What does my human need? If it's rest and relaxation, go and do rest and relaxation. If it's prioritizing effectively in the workplace, then prioritize effectively in the workplace. If it's speaking to my sergeant about something I'm really worried about, then speak to your sergeant about the thing that you're really worried about. Kudos to you. I love you from my heart because you're keeping us all safe and you're doing a job that I actually loved to do. It's the best job in the world. If you're looking to be a police officer, then doff my cap to you. Look forward to the day when you'll be able to wear one of those or one of these or one of those funky baseball cap things that they have these days. I never got to have one of those. All right, listen, I'll catch up with you on the other side. Take care. Speak to you soon.